Too Silver Beat. What's up, man? Today, I just kind of wanted to double back on yesterday's video about the alchemy of stones and subtle energy, and go into uh, some practical uses with crystals, methods, modes, or not methods and modes, methods, mindsets, and motivations, right? And we pulling from the Alchemy of Stones again. I had a book with me, and I'm actually gonna go ahead and go over a couple of meditation techniques with crystals, right? One from the book, one from this other book that I got. This is called Meditations with Eternity, Within Eternity, and see if you can get that, written by Eric Peplin. You know what I'm saying? Uh, it is a pretty good book. Eric Peplin's work. That's the same guy that wrote the Handbook of the Navigator. And when I read that shit, like I said, I bought everything that the guy wrote. You know what I'm saying? And so, just getting into the mindset of working or playing with crystals. I mean, what you fundamentally have to understand is that um, when you get into um, the electromagnetic field that permeates within all organic and inorganic material in this universe, right? And you're also getting in the concept of, everything is vibrating. And so, since everything is vibrating, everything has a frequency, right? Um, a big aspect of the alchemy of stones is the work of spiritual alchemy, right? And the only distinction between spiritual alchemy and what you could generally find about alchemy is that, as opposed to everything that you could read in an alchemical text, or the whole idea of turning lead to gold or transmutation, as opposed to trying to actually, what I'm saying, take lead and make it into gold. It's more so about the refinement of the spirit, right? And it's almost as if, unless you refine the spirit, you couldn't shine anyway. The Alchemy of Stone says that, to the ability of shining, right? Or of, letting your light shine, that is only by virtue of going through a purification or a refinement process of the spirit, right? And this is what spiritual alchemy is all about. And so, with the use of crystals, the way that I like to look at it, and the way that it kind of describes it in the Alchemy of Stones, is that um, since everything vibrates, each and every stone has its own frequency, right? And that frequency could be determined by its shape, its composition, its chemical composition, and the structure by which it grows. And remember, we talked about in the last video that crystals can only grow in about 7 different ways, right? And I'm not getting into the scientifics, the actual names of that shit, because that shit is just too fucking much. But if you wanted to Google search it, you could Google search it. And so, the mindset that I like to have when I'm working with crystals, and again, when we say work, literally all that means is having the crystal around your aura, having it around your electromagnetic field, right? Just being in the presence of a crystal is working with it, right? And so, you start getting into the idea of programming crystals, right? Now, for me, it's not necessarily something that I get into. I don't make a practice of holding a crystal and trying to program it. I know how it works, right? The way it should work theoretically from all of the shit that I read. Between your right hand, your dominant hand, and your non-dominant hand, your dominant hand is the projector of your energy, right? So in my case, it would be my right hand. So my right hand is always pushing energy out. My left hand, my less dominant hand, that is the one that is receiving the energy, right? So let's say I'm getting a crystal to work on a specific type of chakra. And like I said before, crystals are pretty much color coordinated and they are alignment with your chakras, right? So let's say I'm getting ready to make a song, or I'm getting ready to do something creative, right? And I just want to feel a little bit more confident. Well, I'm going to grab a red or an orange stone. So I'm going to grab something like some carnelian, which is supposed to boost confidence, right? It's supposed to boost um, vitality, right? It's supposed to boost vigor. And so I'm not trying to program it. This is what it says when I got it, right? Or this is what it says when I looked it up. So I just hold on to it and see if how I feel matches up with what has been said, right? And so if that's what I was gonna do, then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make sure I'm holding that in my left hand, right? If I wanted to program the crystal, if I wanted to set a specific intention or a specific mantra, what I've learned is less is more. You know what I'm saying? A couple of words, 3 to 4 words, is all you need. So with something like a clear quartz crystal, I'm trying to be clear or I'm trying to be focused. That's all that it is. Or I'm trying to record, I'm trying to remember, or I'm trying to retain information, right? And so again, I would hold these in my left hand, right? Well, let's say I was doing some energy work, or let's say I was creating, right? Well, the creation is coming from the heart chakra and it's coming from the third eye chakra. So since it's coming from those two places, I might want to hold a green or a purple crystal. I might want to hold something like amethyst. I might want to hold something like fluorite in my right hand as I'm working creatively to kind of enhance and stimulate those effects. It's almost the same as if it's an invocation versus an exvocation type of deal, right? And so, you know, again, with everything, with all of these crystals having their own unique frequency, meditation is key. Without meditation, you wouldn't be able to detect the subtle energies or the subtle influences that you have with these crystals. And there's almost like a sympathetic resonance, right? That's what they call in the alchemy stones. That happens with crystals where the same time they're giving you some type of energy, you're feeding that crystal some type of energy too. And I've seen that happen with certain types of stones, right? So I've seen it happen with hematite stone. Now hematite is it's a mineral. It's made out of iron. And so the hematite stones are like the really shiny, you know what I'm saying, metal. They're almost magnetic, right? Now I'll get those the first day that I have them, and they look fine. After about a week or two, they begin to form craters or indentations or indents in, you know what I'm saying, in the surface of the hematite. And it's happened with every hematite that I've ever had in my life, right? So with shit like that, it's almost like it's taking energetic blows for you, right? So a lot of things I like to do when I was going is I put them in my water, right? And see, in this water, you couldn't. There you go. So I got a citrine, I got emerald, I got some quartz in there, and I have another stone that I cannot fucking remember the name of, right? And so I use those crystals to infuse and to purify and to enhance the healing effects of the water itself, right? Now, when I drink the water, I can tell if I have the crystals in it or if I don't have the crystals in it. I can tell because with water, the only reason why you can taste water in the first place is because of whatever the mineral components within that water. This is why different bottled waters taste different. This is why tap water tastes different. And so when I drink tap water, I can taste all kinds of shit. I taste chemicals, I taste metals, I taste all kind of shit when I'm drinking just regular old tap water. But when I've allowed these stones to kind of sit in there and the water to cool and everything like that, it's completely different. Completely different. Another thing I do is I put the shit with my weed. God damn it. Because, you know, weed GMO'd or whatever. Shit, I gotta smoke anyway. So I got like a box of crystal quartz right here. And you see I got a little nug right up in there. And the weed that sits in there, it smokes a little different. Just a little different. And it's not by much. Again, it's all subtle. And so that meditation becomes a sensitivity training of being able to tune into these different frequencies, right? And so, again, one of the main things that I just keep an active and open mind about is the fact that when you're talking about spiritual alchemy, you're talking about the cultivation of one's spirit. And so, since you're talking about the cultivation of one's spirit, and the spirit is intangible, to me, the spirit is your frequency, right? It's the way in which you vibrate. So, if you're cultivating your spirit, you're cultivating a frequency, you're cultivating a vibe, right? And so, I will fashion certain crystals around me for a particular vibe, right? So I like the vibe of amethyst. It's one of my favorite stones. You know what I'm saying? I like that it's purple and I don't see enough purple in my environment, so I fuck with amethyst. Um, but for aspects of working with my third eye, working with my intuition, working with my ability to see through fuck shit, I like to have the frequency of amethyst within my aura. I like to have that included with my frequency, right? I like quartz. I like, you know what I'm saying, moldavite. Moldavite is some completely other supernatural shit. It's almost like moldavite is sentient. I ain't gonna cap with you. There are certain types of ideas that I've had the moment I started working with moldavite, and as a matter of fact, moldavite was probably the first stone that I had a crystal high off of. Like, I didn't think you could get high off of the energy of a crystal, but like just having moldavite on you, like for a little while, to get that shit is some powerful shit, right? And so I will work with these crystals in that way. The other thing that I've noticed too is the same way with your senses. It's almost like I forgot what the word is called in psychology, but there's a phenomenon with your senses where, because there's so much to pay attention to, because there's so many stimuli in our environment, your senses have a natural tendency to stop paying attention to stimulus that don't change, right? That remain static. Is the reason why motherfuckers can fart in the room, you smell it, and then after a while, you don't smell it no more. Somebody else walk into that bitch, they smell it. Is because you get used to a certain type of thing. Another example would be like having a shirt on, right? You got a shirt on. The moment you put the shirt on, you would be able to know that you have a shirt on, but after about 30, 40 minutes to an hour, you forget that you fucking have the shirt on, unless like some wind blows or, you know what I'm saying, something turns that would bring your attention back to the fact that, oh yeah, you have a shirt. That's how your senses work. I think it works the same way with your energetic body too, where when you have these crystals around your spear, after a while, you wouldn't even feel the effects, right? Because I mean, your body's its own crystal. You know what I'm saying? You crystals in your eyes, crystals in your all kind of shit. And so you get to a point where you get used to that frequency and you wouldn't notice it. Also, it's almost as if you carry the frequency almost like a quartz crystal would, right? And so another way that people program their crystals, especially with quartz, the quartz is like the most easily programmable crystal you could have. They use energy grids where they'll have a crystal in the middle of the grid, and then they'll have all the other stones that they want to have around, like some amethyst, carnelian, citrine, whatever, and then they will have all of those crystals around that. And so what's supposed to be happening is that crystal is supposed to be absorbing the energetic frequencies from the other crystals around it, and it's being programmed by that, and then it carries the frequency of all the other stones that you have around it, right? But your body does the same thing too. You actually don't need crystals to get into tools. You don't need anything, but you know, when you're talking about a man being a microcosm, being a universe, and all of the different elements that compose the body, it's like 60 or something different elements, right? Those same elements that compose the body, these crystals are composed of too. So, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to having a mineral deficiency, right? Motherfuckers don't know they need lithium. Motherfuckers don't know they need copper. They don't know they need platinum. You need gold. You need silver. You need iridium. You need these noble metals in your body. You know, your body's not composed of those per se, but they need them. You know what I'm saying? And so, this is the reason why you never find something like gold or silver in your food. Like on the back of the shit, you might find
you find magnesium, you would find copper maybe, but you'd find zinc, but you wouldn't find these other minerals. You need all of that shit in your body. And so by not, if you don't have those, if you had a crystal that was composed of that, you get it kind of osmosis effect too, right? So that's another aspect that I use. And when you start talking about certain types of crystal meditations or meditating with crystals, right? You can always meditate with crystals, aligned on your chakra points, and you could have a color, a stone color in alignment with that chakra point, right? So purple on purple, blue on blue, green on green, red on red. You can mix different colors to kind of bring those energies together, because when you start talking about your psychic abilities and shit like that, this is where the multi-level meditation comes in from the Ari Pekla book, right? So that shit is about it's almost an Indian, Hinduist type of technique, because it's about prana, right? But the way it describes prana is like when you're meditating, you kind of see this blue light, right? I've seen it here and there, but I've only seen it through suggestion after reading that shit. It's not like I've seen it while I was meditating before. But if you were to see this blue light, right? The idea is, as you're inhaling, you're sucking in. That's supposed to be the prana. You're inhaling that, and you are putting your fingers on specific points, right? The point specifically is the third eye, the heart, and the solar plexus. And the reason why it's only those three in specific is because those three are what people have used throughout time to achieve any feats that seem supernatural in any kind of way. So when you're talking about like qigong and just various different martial arts, that energy is gonna come from the solar plexus chakra. That's why they dig from the gut. The solar plexus chakra is also going to be where you get that gut instinct from, because there's a mind, in your gut, right? So then the heart is supposed to be the most powerful of the chakra points. The heart is supposed to be that access point through all of this shit. And so having an open heart allows you to feel the intentions of others, right? It allows you to feel the intentions of the things. It almost gives you a type of psychometry, right? And then of course the third eye is that ability to see. It's clear seeing. And so by meditating and putting your fingers on those 3 points at different increments, like if you're meditating for like 15 minutes, you're gonna do that shit for like 5 minutes or something, 5 minutes for each one, right? That attention is what also gives rise to energy in those different points, and then those points start to spread the prana to the other parts, right? So I took that technique and then I just began to do that with crystals. So I would keep certain crystals, and I would put them either on this point, or on the heart, or on the solar plexus. Sometimes I would have them on all three, and I would meditate just like that on my back. Now, that shit's trippy, as you begin to fall more into trance, because again, meditation is all about the trance. It's all about the trance. It's just like that fucking movie, Soul. And so whatever you need to do to get yourself in a trance, it's really all about that. That's all meditation is, trance. And so I meditate like that, right? In the Alchemy of Stones, there's also a particular meditation that I like, using white and black stones specifically, right? And they got some shit like Shamanite and Merlinite. I didn't even know those motherfucking stones, but yeah, them niggas are stones too. And so by meditating with white and black stones, black at the bottom, white at the top, right? You are doing a dualistic Shin and Shan, yin and yang type of meditation, where you are trying to balance, those two polarities. Now, with me, I don't necessarily agree completely with the whole balance deal. I think that you need proper proportions, right? Divine proportions. I don't think it's necessarily a matter of balance. I think it's a matter of divine proportions. But Yeah, that's just me. You know what I'm saying? But if you felt like you needed to, you know what I'm saying, do some type of shadow work, or you needed to kind of balance those energies, you know, bring them to the surface, pull them up, deal with them, meditating with white and black stones, you know what I'm saying, along your chakra points would also work. And when you get into like the Reiki shit, right? You don't even need a Reiki master. If you had enough crystals, you could just align, you know what I'm saying, a circle around you, where you were meditating if you were sitting down, or align crystals along your body as you're meditating, right? So with those quartz crystals, I do a lot of that, where I'll line, you know what I'm saying, the bed up, or I'll line, you know what I'm saying, the chair up, and I meditate with that. That amplifies energy too. That puts, you know what I'm saying, meditation to a whole nother level. And again, you don't need all of this stuff. I just like to experiment. That's me personally. Matter of fact, you talk about experiment. When I got the goddamn crystals, it's like 3 pounds of this shit. It came with a whole bunch of quartz dust, and I didn't even want to throw that shit away. So shit, my dumbass intuition tell me, roll it up, smoke it with your weed. And that's what the fuck I did, and it is its own experience too. It provides a certain level of clarity. Now I had to look into fucking quartz a lot more to really kind of figure out, alright, what the fuck am I smoking? But I mean, that's just basically sand. It's basically clay. The body is made of silicon. You know what I'm saying? Also oxygen. That's all that the quartz is. It's just highly refined. So I mean, it's probably not the healthiest thing. I'm no health expert either. So you know, whatever. But like I said, it's all an experimentation process. Um, and yeah, man, those are just some mindsets. Those were some methods. You know what I'm saying? And again, the motivation, nigga, you are refining your spirit. You are cultivating your frequency. So, whatever you feel like you want to be that day, whatever the fuck you think you need, you know what I'm saying? That's all that you equip yourself with. You know what I'm saying? They basically are natural amulets and talisman. That's all that a crystal is. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, that's video on that shit, man. Hope you enjoy it. I'll be smooth.